Hello, all of my music teacher friends out there. Welcome to the Scrappy Piano Teacher Podcast. My name is Jacqueline Rosick, but of course you can call me Jaci, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Right now, if you are listening to this live, we are in mid-July, and you know what that means. You know what we are all thinking, what we are all pondering, and that is fall lessons. There's a lot to it. It can be very overwhelming, and sometimes we can think that we check all the boxes and then we miss something huge and we don't realize it till later down the road. So today I'm going to go through just a simple checklist that I like to go through for myself and for other teachers as they prepare for the upcoming school year as well. Because hear me out, our seasons change, right? You can have a great studio plan. Oh, I want to have this many students. I want to work on these days. I want to make X amount, blah, blah, blah. And you work really hard and maybe you get there and you're like, yes, I did it. I am there. Woo. And everything's working like a well-oiled machine. Yes. And then suddenly a season in your life changes, it shifts around, and then you got to just revisit everything. And now, new plan. And I am no exception. I'm actually having that happen this year. You know, every year I work incredibly hard to get my studio organized, create my systems, and finally reach that point where I think, woohoo, I did it. Everything is set up. We are good to go. And maybe that is true for a year or two, but then without fail, you know, I'm going to have something change. My schedule is going to change. My family is going to need something different. Maybe I decide suddenly I'm going to try a new lesson model. I had that there for a spell where I was like, everybody's group lessons. And then the next year I'm like, everybody's partner lessons. You know, it changes. So I was really thinking about this episode as I was writing it. And I decided there was 5 areas that I think that every teacher really should review before beginning a new teaching year. And each area might be a completely different situation for you. It might take you just a few minutes to do one, where it might take you a few days to do another one. And that's okay. I think as long as you're revisiting them and you feel good about them and you're like, let's go, well, it's going to be great. So let's get started. All right. Number 1, this one's obvious. I wouldn't even bet you what you think this one is because you probably already know that I'm going to say review your studio policies. Are you so tired of me talking about it? I will never get tired about talking about studio policies. I don't know what it is, but I love talking about them. But before registrations go out or your emails go out or you start filling your calendar, you need to sit down and have a business meeting with yourself. That means go to that fancy coffee shop, order that super frilly overpriced drink. I give you permission. Go do it. Have that business meeting with yourself. If you have a team, if you work with teachers, take the team. Give them a overpriced coffee or tea or whatever it is you guys drink out there. Go give them a treat. Just do it and look at everything with a fine-tooth comb and question everything. Question your charges, your tuition. How are you collecting it? Are you still like, no, I'm not doing auto pay. I don't want to touch that. Or are you actually going to make that big change and be like, yeah, Jaci, you're right. I get what the hype is about. I mean, I'm not judging. It's cool. You can collect tuition however you want. I'm just saying auto pay is a beautiful thing. But anywho, it's not even about that. It's about how lessons are going to be missed. How are you going to miss lessons? How are your students going to miss lessons? And what's going to happen? How much notice do families need to give when they decide to leave? How are you going to communicate? You know, what stressed you out last year that you can change this year and make better according to your policies? And how can you make these policies shorter to where people actually read them? And what can maybe go into a handbook for your students' families or a welcome letter or that kind of thing? If you need help with this, you guys know I talk about it all the time. There's many a podcast out there about it. I have a complete replay of my policy workshop available, and it comes along with a very detailed policy workbook, and you can work through the workbook along with the replay. You know, that's what you can do too at the coffee shop with your fancy drink. Maybe you have 2 fancy drinks and a fancy mug. What is it about mugs? I love me a good fancy mug. I will link that in the show notes, but I will tell you right now, you can just go to www.scrappypianoteacher.com/resources and it's all there. All right. Number 2, build your calendar, but We're going to build your calendar around margin. So yes, obviously build your calendar for the studio year. You want to have this ahead of time. And for those of you who have gigs and maybe you know that you're going to be missing lessons, but you're not really quite sure, that's where you can build flex weeks in. So you can go ahead and still plan out your calendar and just let them know like, hey, things might get moved, whatever. But this gives families a really great way to plan ahead of time and give them a chance to actually put it on the calendar. Now, that's for the whole year. You want them to be able to have that. But when I talk about your calendar around margin, I want you to really look at the weeks and the days and how much time you have. I think there's a lot of teachers out there that squish as many students as they can into as many 30-minute slots as possible, because the more people you can fit into the afternoon, maybe the more people you can please, the more people you can serve, and the more money you can make. So let me ask you this. Do you actually enjoy squishing all these students into 30-minute lessons? Maybe you do. I don't think you do, but maybe you do. All right. Maybe you would rather teach in 45-minute increments. For me, I've found that teaching 4 students 45 minutes and then having a nice break, like a real break, makes such a difference for me. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. How great is that? 30 minutes? Are you crazy? You could actually eat and go to the bathroom? That's amazing. I wouldn't even touch 45-minute break because that just seems too good to be true, doesn't it? But listen, you guys are humans. You have needs. You're going to have physical needs, you have mental needs, and that's okay. And you might be thinking to yourself, but during this breaks, I could fit in another student and time is money, right? If that's how you're thinking, then I really want you to reevaluate what you're charging and how you're charging it and how you're collecting your money, because every job that you're in, they have to give you breaks. So why on earth would you want a boss that's not going to give you a break? You're the boss and you're the employee. What a horrible boss you are if you are not allowing your employee to take a break. Take a stinking break. It's okay. I want you to reflect to last year and really ask yourself, like, how were my Mondays? Right? Was I happy with how my Mondays went? Did Tuesdays stress me out? How was I feeling Wednesdays? I've said this on so many different podcasts, not even just my own. I don't know why I feel a need to tell these people this all the time, but this is such a big impact for me, is my Wednesdays. Like, I talk about it all the time because Wednesdays, I can't function on Wednesdays. I don't know what it is. It has to be light for me or whatever. If you are not a Wednesday person, can you tell me? Because maybe it's just me. My point is look at the days of the week. How does it work for you? Would you rather end earlier, or is this a day where you can end later? Maybe you have more homeschoolers and Tuesdays are the day for your homeschools. The next day, maybe it's a public school day. Just whatever. My point is, give yourself some margin. Really take a nice, deep look at that. Also, if it helps you, I have a free resource on my website. It is an editable calendar through Canva. There is a 9-month calendar and there is a 12-month calendar, and you can edit it as much as you want, download it, make it fit your colors, do all the things. But that is at my website at www.scrappypianoteacher.com/resources. Okay. I went on a little bit too long with that, so I'm going to move on to number 3. Organize your business accounts. Yeah, I'm talking about your bank accounts. So at the absolute minimum, please have a separate checking account for your studio. Even if your studio is small, separating your business income and your expenses will make your records much easier to understand. You should be able to look at your studio account and know what is happening inside your business. If you want to take that organization further, I highly recommend exploring a profit first style system. Pretty much the basic idea is that the money coming into your studio is going to be divided into different buckets. First, you'll get paid, but then you also are going to have a tax bucket. You're going to have a profit bucket. You're going to have an account for operating expenses, a savings, and you can create additional buckets that fit your own goals. Maybe you want to attend the MTNA conference and you're like, oh my goodness gracious, that's so much money, which it is. It's expensive to go. I get it. Create a conference bucket. Maybe summers just are always a struggle for you financially, which I think that is the case for most of us. And if that's the case, maybe we just accept it and be like, summer's hard. I'm going to make a summer bucket. How much do I need to survive next summer? Make yourself a summer bucket and then you won't have to worry about it. Then maybe you can actually just take a break, whatever. Maybe eventually you'll need a new piano, a new instrument, computer, tuning. I always forget to budget in tuning, you guys. Always. Budget in your tuner. Jackie, budget in your tuner. Okay. These accounts will help you stop treating every tuition payment as money that is immediately available to spend, because it's not. So you have to give the money a job, and it's going to be much easier to make thoughtful decisions. I do have an entire podcast episode about Profit First, and I also have a free Profit First at a Glance resource specifically for music teachers. I will link both of those for you in the podcast, but I will tell you once again, the resource is at www.scrappypianoteacher.com/resources. All right, number 4. I want you to review your administrative setup and studio software. So ask yourself, I know not all of you guys use software. I know some of you do. What is your studio using as its central administrative system? In the business world, you may hear the term CRM. That stands for Customer Relationship Management. So a CRM is essentially the place where you organize the information and communication connected to the people you serve. For a music teacher, that could include studio information, family contact details, communication, registration, billing, scheduling, attendance, all those kind of things. So your studio software should reduce the number of details you have to hold inside of your head in all these random places and keeping track of where everything is. And it should make your studio easier for you to manage, but it's also going to make your students' lives easier. Your families, the parents, they should be able to know where to find everything, where to do everything. And they shouldn't have to be texting you at all hours to find that. They should just be able to bada bing, bada boom, do it. When I am dealing with teachers and we're talking about this, one of the most important features is automated billing. This is something that just comes up. It's becoming a much bigger thing than it used to. I think that more teachers are becoming more and more aware of that. And so the goal is to create a system where you're not spending the first week of every month tracking down tuition payments and all these different places like Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, cash, check, all these places, right? Ideally, you will wake up on the first of the month and the payments are already being processed. They're already going into your bank, ready for you to do a profit first disbursement and live a wonderful life for that month and be an amazing teacher. Your software should also be giving you a reliable calendar. You know, depending on your studio model, families may be able to cancel or reschedule their own lessons. You may allow students to book lesson packages. You may offer subscriptions, camps, recitals, workshops, additional classes. A strong system can keep all of those things organized. And the calendar integration is incredibly important. Some of you know this. I don't know how many of you know this, but I did recently switch to Make Music Studio, formerly Fonz. I love it so much that I'm now on their team, which has been amazing. Let me tell you something that that just got me. Okay. When I signed up, they have a 2-way calendar integration. That means that your outside calendar can see what is happening in Make Music Studio. Okay, great. We have it synced. That's awesome. But Make Music Studio, formerly known as Fonz, can also recognize when you're already busy on your connected calendar. But it's so cool. You can go into your Make Music Studio, look at your calendar, and you can actually see blocked out times where it says busy. It doesn't say what you're specifically doing, but it shows that you're busy or you have this. And so you're not having to go between all these calendars. It's so cool. It's so cool. It is going to significantly reduce the chance of double booking. Make Music Studio also includes music-related tools and resources, but even before getting into those features, the scheduling, the billing, the registration, packages, subscriptions, and communication tools can make a significant difference in the way your studio operates. As a music teacher, as an independent piano teacher, I had never heard of Make Music, but it's a thing. So if you're like, well, I've never even heard of this, like, who cares? It's a thing. It's a big deal because Fonz has been absorbed into this company. Now you will have access to all kinds of amazing music. Now, I will say in the piano world, it's newer, so they have to digitize it. Is that the word? They have to digitize it and get it all on there. Did I already mention that I joined the team? I think I mentioned that I joined the team. Right. So I am on the team as a clinician and studio success specialist. So what does that mean? That means that you go ahead and you get your self trial and you're like playing with it and you're having fun. And then you're like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. And you can book a free demo. And when you do that, you're going to get myself or another cool cat. Obviously, I would love to work with you, because I just love meeting teachers, especially listeners of the podcast. And that has been happening, which has been super, super fun. But we are here to help you. I love it. I just think it's the bee's knees, guys. I love it. So anyway, if you are a little curious about the Make Music Studio, I do have a special code for you. It is Scrappy90. That is 90% off your first 3 months at Make Music Studio if you sign up and use my code. Whether or not you use that, you need some kind of a software or you need some kind of a system. All right, number 5. This is the most important one, and I saved it for last. How about them cookies? So if you stuck around this long, you get the real juicy bits. And it's not as juicy or groundbreaking as you might think. It's just revisiting your daggone teacher philosophy that nobody seems to want to revisit. Revisit your teaching philosophy. You guys, this one should come first. And I'm going to tell you why. Because your policies and your calendar, your lesson structure, even your software, your financial systems, all of the things are going to grow out of your teaching philosophy. This is totally overlooked all the time. So stop it. So look at it. Okay. When I did the MTNA webinar with Karen Thixton, we did it on policies, which you can access the replay if you're an MTNA member in the archives. But we received a really great question about whether revisiting a teaching philosophy annually was perhaps a little too academic. Like, is it really necessary? And I thought that was a really great question because it hit me and I thought, I wonder if this is where a lot of that resistance is coming from. A lot of that, like, I've already done it, Is it necessary to revisit it every year? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. The answer is yes. Do it, because your teaching philosophy is you. It's you. Who are you as a teacher? What do you believe the students need? What do you want them to experience in your studio? What lesson model supports your beliefs? What methods do you use? What repertoire excites you? And what type of student do you serve especially well? Do you have a specialty? What gets you fired up, motivated, inspired? What gets you burnt out? Maybe you were a very traditional teacher for a while and now suddenly you were like all creative and improv. Maybe you're doing rote and you never thought you'd do rote, stuff like that. Your teaching philosophy is going to help you understand your ever evolving identity as a teacher. I'm going to repeat that. Your teaching philosophy is going to help you understand your ever evolving identity as a teacher. You need that identity to be clear, because all the other decisions just flow. And it's easy from there. It's like, oh, and then you have confidence because you're like, oh yeah, it's me. I believe in me, believe in you. You're amazing. You're awesome. You can set that tuition that's finally going to make your model financially possible. Like, maybe you can actually go and get that fancy coffee and not be like, Jackie, I can't afford it. Just go and get it, because now you can afford it. You can decide which opportunities belong in your life right now. When it comes to your teaching philosophy, I also have a workbook for that is available on my website. It can help you work through your own beliefs, your strengths, your methods, your goals, and your studio identity. If you don't know where to start, it's kind of a plug and play. It's going to ask you reflective questions. You're going to go, I wonder. And then you're going to put it in. And before you know it, you'll have a beautiful philosophy for you. So that's going to be linked in the show notes as well. Everything that I have mentioned is at www.scrappypianoteacher.com/resources, except for Make Music Studio software. You can find that at studio.makemusic.com. So guys, as you prepare for fall, here's your checklist: policies, calendar around margin, business accounts, systems, studio software. And then above all else, before you do any of this, because I like to go out of order, teaching philosophy. It's literally underneath it. Like, everything that you have and everything that you're doing, your philosophy is underneath that. Go revisit it. Just do it. Do the philosophy. You can work incredibly hard to build something that functions beautifully and still reach a point where it needs to change. And that is okay. It's all right. It's because we're human. Again, take breaks, do your philosophy, get your business accounts in order, get yourself some good software, and you're going to have an excellent year. I just know it. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful teaching week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.